this was a last minute, but I'm so glad it worked out. Heng Sure, this is Heng Sure. You've been traveling a lot internationally in the past few months, and we actually we just confirmed yesterday you could make this talk, so we're very grateful. Thank you so much. I'm not going to do a traditional introduction because I tried last year, I read, and it didn't feel natural. So I'll just say a few words about who Heng Sure is. Obviously, you can see he's a Buddhist monk, but you have also been a lifelong musician. And Heng Sure is a monk with the Dharma Realm Buddhist Association tradition, where both the nuns who lead our meditation, they also come from that tradition and has the same teacher. You've been a monk for almost 50 years.
Which demonstrates a certain lack of imagination, I guess. Couldn't think of anything else to do.
Yes, but you can see the music here, and you see the book he wrote, Roots and Play, that's about mindfulness for musicians. So has been done a lot of work publishing albums, doing workshops at music camps, teaching mindfulness for musicians, and I personally have been very touched and transformed by the music you make. And let's see, I think I got to know Heng Sure when I was early 2021, and what I learned about him was he did this remarkable pilgrimage that he and his peer monk at that time did this 3 steps, 1 bow. So you walk 3 steps and bow down to the floor, earth, and you come back. And they did that for 2 years and 6 months.
Right.
Is that right? For world peace.
And look how successful it was.
So we figured that. And then Heng Sure actually was with our group last year too, and the feedback we heard about people's experiencing spend a day with you and listen to the workshop was very deep. Somehow something you say last year touched people's hearts very deeply. So we're really grateful, and the girls are nodding because they were here last year.
Cool.
And this girl you took a photo of the slideshow he showed last year and posted on Instagram.
I think so,
I saw
yeah.
that.
Wow. All right.
So we're really glad it's happening.
Okay.
Thank you for being here, and thank you, Heng Sure, for being here.
All right. Sophie, thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. We've had a great lunch. So happy to see everybody here. Alex is here, Barbara's here, Cliff is here somewhere. Yeah. And Sophie and Loni put the camp together again this year. No microphone. Is my voice loud enough? Chinwei, can you hear me there? Good. Okay. No amplification. She introduced me as a musician, lifelong, and in front of it, with all of you, the Chinese, they say 不敢当. I don't dare assume that. I'm a folkie. I'm 76 years old now, still breathing. But this is pre-Beatles, so my musical inspiration came from the likes of Ian and Sylvia, and Phil Oakes, and of course Bob Dylan, and Judy Collins, and Peter, Paul, and Mary, and the Kingston Trio. I confess, all the way back to the beginning of folk music, and I haven't progressed since then. But I've gone into a different direction now, with investigating, integrating, making music with spirituality, which I think is what brings us here. Why you would pick the One Heart music community over the other workshops and summer camps that you could come to is the emphasis on music plus, the experience of making music and how to increase that experience, how to deepen that experience in various directions. So I'm delighted to be here to be able to share some more of those ideas and work with you in these directions. Now, I know that I'm a one-off here, but you have mindfulness and music professors here teaching all week. So I would hope that the things that I say today could complement what and not conflict with any of the principles that you're studying here. I also want to introduce Jerry, who is your classmate, Jerry Xu, right there behind the camera. Jerry is studying guitar this week with Alex, and Jerry and I are the co-authors of this thing, this gadget, which you're seeing on the screen there. We only have one physical copy here because the way the schedule worked out, this is my time with you today. We have more copies down in Berkeley, and if anybody would like a physical copy after we introduce this, please tell Sophie. She will happily supply you with one, and Jerry will tell you how to find a digital copy. And I also want to introduce Loni, who's sitting behind the shades there. This is Loni Baur. Loni is the real songwriter among the Buddhist monastics. Loni was a Buddhist nun for years, but she is a resident here of the town of Ukiah, and is the author of one of the real pioneering albums of Buddhist folk songs in America, in English. So I'm hoping that maybe at the end of this presentation we could do a little bit. So, yeah. Okay, so let's see, I wanted to get started with a song, and I can actually bring it up. Some Buddhist songs are composed, others are found. I don't know if the authors of this song knew they were writing a Buddhist song when they wrote it, but they sure came up with one. So, Satisfied Mind. And this talks directly to our topic, which is the spiritual side of making music. How the mind is the thing that determines whether the vibrations that we make with our fingers, with our reeds, with our columns of air vibrating through the horn, through the strings on the soundboard, whether or not those hit the spot and say what you wanted to say with those vibrations. The mind is the thing that makes that decision. So how do we find that mind, and what are the parameters of it? What can we do with that mind in terms of tuning our satisfied mind, the satisfaction that we get from making those columns of air or the vibrations or the plucking of the strings. I was with a full-scale harpsichord in Paris 3 weeks ago. What an amazing gadget is a harpsichord. And there it was, and just plinking away. So we want to tune in and find that mind. So here we go. Red Hayes and Jack Rhodes didn't know they were writing a Buddhist song. I'll get it, Jerry, thanks. How many times have you heard someone say? By the way, the pronouns are neutral. Her, substitute as you please. Their, substitute. If I had her his money, I'd do things my way. But little they know that it's so hard to find one rich woman in 10 with a satisfied mind. Once I was winning in fortune and fame. I had all that I needed to make a start in life's game. Then suddenly it happened. I lost every dime. But now I'm richer by far with a satisfied mind. 'Cause money won't buy back your youth when you're old, or a friend or a loved one, or a heart that's grown cold. The wealthiest person is a pauper at times, compared to the one with a satisfied mind. When my life is ended, when my time's run out, all my friends and my loved ones, I'll leave them no doubt. But there's one thing for certain, when it comes my time, I'll leave this old world with a satisfied mind. So that points us, what do they say? Just throw money. That's all right. That's okay. That's okay. Kidding about that part. So it's the mind that determines the satisfaction, not the stuff, not the wealth. For musicians, what power do we have to find that mind and to talk to it? And that's a question that every one of us, every time we touch our instrument or voice, can ask and actually tune into. So that was the impetus for a class that I taught along with Jerry at another camp called the Swannanoa Gathering in Swannanoa, North Carolina, in the Appalachians, Western North Carolina. And the class was called Mindfulness and Performance, which is a theme that we're investigating here. Cliff, hi. And it used to be called Meditation for Musicians, but we discovered that there were two kinds of folks who came to this class, who took this class instead of guitar or songwriting. And half of the group came because of anxiety on stage fright. The other half of the class enrolled because they wanted to deepen their relationship with their instrument. They wanted more than the simple vibration or the same old, stuck in a rut. Only know as much as you know and somehow just can't quite seem to break out of the tunes you know, sort of thing. So those are the two reasons that people came. So we came up with this as the first movement. And the idea was that as we reach for our instrument, we had our class, and there was about 20 students in the class. We said, let's recite this first together. And we created this book this size so you could put it in your pick case in your guitar case. So could I encourage us to join me? Now, there's something wonderful about reciting together in public. We don't get a chance to do this. Used to be, I pledge allegiance to the flag, and if you were a Boy Scout, you said, on my honor, I will do my best, right? Otherwise, when do you get a chance to, the Chinese say, 异口同音, different mouths, but with a single sound, hey Bob. And in other words, unison, able to hear our voices blending with other voices. That's a rare experience in public life, and it's a precious one. So I'm going to say that punctuation is our friend, right? That period at the end of in service to music says stop, and it also says breathe, all right? And then we've got a tradition. There's a comma, not only from me, that's a pause, and if you're out of air, you can breathe. but it's a what, caesura in music, is that what it is? It's a pause. So there you go. So that's what I would like us to do. And the other thing that makes this experience of reciting together a communal symphony is to recite while using your ears. Listen to the person beside you, the person behind you, understand there are people listening to you in front of you, and modulate your sound to fit so that you can also hear at the same time you're speaking. It's a wonderful experience, reciting together. Okay, are we ready? The title is Musician's Mindfulness. Here we go. A Musician's Mindfulness. Ready? I am grateful for all the musicians who have come before me, comma, take a pause, men and women who played in service to music. Stop, take a breath. I offer my passion, humility, discipline, and joy to this tradition. Pause, take a breath. May the music that I share today as a gift to the world flow not only from me, but also through me. Pause, absorb. Boom, 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 boom. We made some vibrations there. So the first idea here is gratitude. What a wonderful thing. We're in a peaceful, more or less, part of California where we had food to eat, the roof is not leaking, we're all in good health, relatively. Some of us are older than others. I know. So it's gratefully. So we can be grateful for all those blessings and say, I'm grateful to be in a line of musicians who have made what they say the first music is probably a hollowed out bird bone with holes in it that you toot, 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 right? From that earliest musical instrument to the sophistication of saxophones, clarinets, guitars, etc., pianos. All the musicians who come before me, men and women who played in service to music. And what an idea that we are serving this magic that we make with vibration, right? That changes things. I'm a servant to the strum, you know. So, and then we say, with that mindfulness, with that awareness of where I am in relationship to the flow, musicians used to be priests, priestesses. Because it's not everybody, if you're out there sweating to grow food out of the ground, who has time to learn an instrument, right? And if you did, that meant that you probably had something special. You were able to bring in these sounds that before you plugged in, musicians were entertainment, right? The band's in town, big deal. You don't have a, Hitachi AM radio to tune in KCLW from Detroit, you only hear music when the band is playing. How often is that, And yet some of us just naturally, we're just always making instruments wherever we go. All right. So we say, with that in mind, I offer my passion, my love of this, my humility, the realization of how much I don't know, the discipline that it takes to woodshed until you learn the scales, you learn the fingering, you learn the embouchure, etc., and then the joy that what we're about is making something wonderful, making something magic. Then there's a prayer, a little wish. It says, may the music that I share today as a gift to the world, is that what I'm doing with my music? Wouldn't that be wonderful? Flow not only from me, but through me. So success for me, mindfulness for me, is hollowing out so that I can receive that flow and then pass it on without, of course, you'll be adding your personal touch just by the machines that we're using, these devices that we shape music with, but it comes through us as much as from us. So this is how we start our book. And as we taught it in class, we were suggesting that that every time you reach for your instrument, every time you open the piano cover, every time you check your reed, you recite this. And I don't think people do it every time, but if you do it once a day, it really does make things, it sends the experience deeper. And it connects you to more than simply rote musicianship or the things that we do. People beat themselves up. I'm never going to be as good as I want to be, you know. No, this is a gift to the world that I'm making. It changes things. It gives you another, okay. So that's a start. The next thing we had in mind was we divided this booklet into intentions, and there's a few of them, and then there's room for your own, and then contemplations, which is different, and then room for your own. And then we also, every class we did exercises that were helpful in grounding us in the body, in giving us some awareness of the energetic flow through our feet out. The 8 brocades is a really good one. Anybody do the 八段锦? 有没有? 学过吗? 一段, okay. 8 brocades, anybody? So it's this is a Taoist Qigong related series of exercises that is ancient. They've found illustrations of people learning the 8 brocades from, 600, Tang Dynasty. So, and the others are growing tree roots, swinging the arms, deep breathing, etc. So that's how we organized it. And let me share a bit of this, what we think the use of this is, and whether this might make sense to you as a way to deepen your experience of making music and connecting it to other things. So let's see here. Tell me your name.
Ella.
Ella, would you read that first paragraph?
May I benefit all beings who feel the vibrations from this instrument. I will add a good wish with every note and a peaceful thought with every phrase and verse.
Awesome, thank you. Your name?
Estella.
Estella, would you read the second one?
May this music change the world for the better, beginning with my peaceful heart. I find joy and meaning in making music, and giving it away is a gift from the heart.
Okay, thank you both. So there's in many forms of Buddhist meditation and other traditions, non-Buddhist, Buddhist and non-Buddhist alike, intention is important as you meditate. So instead of it being kind of random or kind of just an exercise, you set your mind. And as much as AI community is talking about AGI, right? When they say we reach the singularity, when we can recreate in carbon, in silicon, what is working just fine in carbon-based. And the mind has more transistors than any silicon chip, so to speak. And when we can focus that mind with a thought, and it's just a thought, we say, I would like to make today's music making create a more peaceful world, that's an intention. And it's powerful. You've just given it a focus. It's the difference between an incandescent bulb and a laser, right? Remember incandescent bulbs? Isn't that amazing? We have to say that. They're gone, right? Anybody have any left at home? Now it's compact flashes. Terry, aha, the old people here. Yeah. We elders, yeah. So the incandescent bulb was, you screwed it in, and then there were these filaments that came up, and they were very thin. And the electricity hit the base, the filaments started to vibrate, and they were said to be super inefficient because something like 30% of the power that came in was converted to light, and the rest of it was heat, and it didn't, so it wasn't very efficient. And then at a certain point, poof, when you broke those filaments, they didn't light up. So lasers are super efficient. The amount of electricity that comes in the bass translates into light much more at a higher percentage. So when we set an intention, the mind that is focused on the staff, focused on this difficult passage, thinking, oh, here comes the chorus again. This is difficult fingering. That mind that's doing that, if you have set it with an intention, somehow cuts like a laser beam. And it just feels more connected. Again, that word keeps coming back. Okay? So this is one, peaceful mind. We got another one. Some days you want to, you're feeling particularly grateful and you want to send out loving kindness. So let's see, Frank, can I ask you to read? Can you see it big enough?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Now watch the punctuation.
May my music enter the world gently. May its spirit increase generosity. May this be my gift to friends and strangers alike. Deep, abiding joy.
There you go. So make that the intention before you, as you sit at the bench, as you pick up your horn. Interesting. That's a different one. It's another one. And so we floated these with our class at Swannanoa, and some days it registered. Other days it sounded light, didn't hit the heart. But some days it was like a life preserver in an ocean of deep waves, strong waves. It's just this thought of right. I want my music. I realize that with every string, that vibration is entering the world. May it come in gently. May, when people hear this, may their hearts expand. May they feel open to giving. And may this music be a gift. So some days that's good. That's good. We got another one here. What's your name? Zoe, could you read for us Ahimsa?
May all beings who hear the sounds absorb their peaceful intent and be filled with the spirit of well-being and non-harming. May this instrument become a tool of loving kindness. May its music make a better world.
Okay, thank you, Zoe. Now, as I look at it, that's probably interchangeable with the last sentence, but the emphasis here is this idea of ahimsa, which is that's a Sanskrit word that means the prefix always means no, or lack of, or none. So no harming. Gandhi made that one of his primary principles for his satyagraha, the pursuit of truth. So non-harming. May all beings who hear these sounds lose their aggression. May these sounds bring kindness and an inner well-being, non-harming. What a great idea, just to say, that's my intention as I make music. Good for you. I think we got one more here. Okay, now, sometimes we play as an ensemble. Okay, we're not soloists always. So here's an ensemble wish. Wenbo, you're up.
Ensemble playing. May I play with others the way one merges onto the freeway? Watch and listen, and then move effortlessly and mindfully. May my energy become one with the ongoing flow of musical emotion. I will listen to the group and synchronize, find the group, and make space in the vicinity for our sounds.
Okay. As somebody who plays an ensemble, is that helpful? Yeah? Just that thought of joining the synergy and the ongoing flow. So this is, you may be a soloist, maybe not. Maybe you are a trio, a quartet, a duo. But this is an intention. And that's what it's for, is to set that thought as you begin the practice of making music. And it changes things. That's the intention. So this is it's called a performance toolkit, right? That's how we came up with this. And again, it's just to have it available like a toolkit. Some days you need a screwdriver, the other days you need a hammer. Next day you need a saw. You know, these are intentions for the moment before you begin, to give that shape and focus to the energy of creating music. Then we know that as being creatives, if the spirit works, people are going to come up with their own. So we left space for more intentions as you go. Jerry and I realized there was a sort of a glitch here, which is shiny paper. Ballpoints don't write on it. So anyway, we should have left a more tactile surface. Nobody handwrites anymore, by golly. Did you note it? Do you have a pencil in your space at home? You still do? Just they're disappearing. In Australia, I teach a class in calligraphy. I'm keeping it alive. Italic calligraphy. So we've got some real handwriters coming up. But it's just amazing. How many people now have graduated to voice memos entirely? Right? Does anybody type with their thumbs anymore? Yeah? So, yeah, you know. So it's disappearing as an art. So, all right. So that's one. Let's look at the Contemplations, and then we'll do another music. Now, the purpose of these Contemplations they began with this came from another project that I was engaged in with a guy named Steve Boffman, who's, here's Steve at Swannanoa. This was last July. Here we are at faculty night at Swannanoa. But it's Steve is a Northern California guitarist, Celtic guitarist, clawhammer guitarist, and banjo aficionado. We made a project called Zen Banjo. And I think we sold dozens of those DVDs. maybe a dozen. But there it was. And it was the notion that banjo is a particular instrument. It's a drum on a stick, right? Here we are. There's the stick. And it's very rhythmic as a result. There's a banjo groove. And these contemplations came alive from the banjo, that we realized there are people who, in their playing, regardless of the instrument, felt that they were stuck in a rut and wanted somehow to, if they were going to be learning scales for an hour, regardless of the instrument, they wanted, their minds needed more to do with it. So we came up with vibrations, silence, elements, reconnecting, and then an ensemble again. And it's just a way of, while you are making music, give part of your awareness to contemplate these aspects of the experience. A contemplation, in the Chinese, is guanxiang, and guan is you're looking with your mind, not only with your eyes. So what are you seeing? You're seeing the thoughts. You're seeing through the mind's eye the world around you, focusing on a certain thing. So there is a visual aspect, but it's more an internal visual aspect. You're looking at the mind's eye. So the first one is vibrations. Bob, could you read for us? Would you mind?
Vibrations. Focus your awareness inwardly and locate your heart rhythm. Let your thumb and fingers vibrate the soundboard of your instrument in sync with the heart's drumbeat. Stay with that rhythm and let the music carry you out and back, at home in the universal groove, grounded in the center of the ever-expanding universe.
There you go. Now, that's big, and somebody could say, well, airy-fairy. I came to music because I wanted to be grounded, not expanding in the center of the universe. Yeah, well, on the other hand, where do these vibrations stop? Right? So here's the sound. How far does that go? Does it stop? Right? So I'll defend this as being legit. Focus awareness inwardly. Locate your heart rhythm. The first drum. Bump, bump. Bump, bump. Bump, bump. And it beats to the end. This is the last sound we hear, perhaps. So, and then, this was for guitarists, but you can translate for horn players or keyboard players. Let your thumb and fingers vibrate the soundboard in sync with the heart's drum beat. Bum, 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 bum. Stay with that rhythm. Let the music carry you out and back, out and back. At home in that groove that is beating you, right? It's not that I'm letting my heart beat. Because my heart beats, I can be, right? So now I'm suddenly much bigger. The experience is much bigger. I'm an expanded sense of awareness as I make music. That's the idea. It's a contemplation. Then you let it go. You say, that was interesting. You know, wow, we really are launching these ripples out into the world. So take charge of them. Be responsible for them. So that was one. Okay. Heng Sure, you want to do, can you do silence? Can you see it?
Closer.
No, closer.
Silence.
There we go, silence.
Tune your eyes to the spaces surrounding the notes. Observe how the silence holds the music. Are you holding the music and the silence equally? Oh my God, sorry. Are you hearing with your
Skin.
to the notes of your feet here? Well, close your eyes and listen with the crown of your head, with your whole body, as the waves of sound move through the silence.
Thank you. So this is much more engaged. This is a much more physical experience. But what it brings in is something that meditators have been paying attention to for a very long time, which is the source of sound and in between the sounds. Are we listening to the silence as much as we're listening to the sound stimulation, the vibration on that we translate from eardrum to bone stirrups to electrical to the part of the brain that hears it. So that's fascinating. I mean, that right away. In our Buddhist tradition, one of our main sutras is called the Shurangama Sutra. And in that, the Buddha teaches his disciple Ananda about seeing largely, but he translates it also into hearing. And hearing consciousness, what is in there, listening and distinguishing. Consciousness knows the difference. Silence, sound. What is in there, for sure we're doing it, but what is it? How about the various vibrations between a language, right? That we can recognize when I'm speaking English today, 我一小位改变了就不一样了，不是个个都会听得懂，有的会，有的不会，有什么不同， right? What's the difference between 有什么不同 and what's the difference? It's like, yeah, big. So we're doing that, so why not get good at it? Why not focus in? And this is our fundamental technology, and yet we don't know how to operate it by and large until we tune in. And then by observing, by contemplating, and we are musicians, we've got this incredible instrument, tool, device by which we're generating sounds. How amazing to be able to say, yeah, I'm tuning in to the sounds and the spaces around the sounds, by which I communicate what I'm feeling today, what I want to share. So this is a contemplation, and it's just another way of looking, right? We're not doing anything except looking with a little discipline in it. Another question is, where do we hear? Is it only located here? Not, clearly not, So we're in a bath of sound, an ocean of sound. The vibrations don't select which organ to go in. We're hearing as much with our skin as we are with our ears. Alex and I know a late musician named Al Petaway, composer and guitarist. And Al used to talk about closing his eyes as he practiced, or even practicing in the dark, which just removes the visual from the experience of making music. And suddenly, there's a shift, when you just subtract the eyes. And you recognize pretty quickly that you're hearing with much more than ordinarily we think. If we stopped up our ears and continued to play, would we enjoy the experience of making music? As a guitarist, I really am aware of which guitars vibrate how, against my chest bone and in the lap, So by removing the eyes from the experience, silence changes and sound changes. So that's what a contemplation. It's a way to play music with more than simply the ordinary, the usual, right? Okay, we've got another one. Idan, you want to read the elements?
Elements. Focus on the senses that bring us into awareness in this moment. Feel the body's weight on the earth, our fingers on the strings. Feel at home in the air element, where we set musical notes free. We borrow from the planet the elements of earth, fire, and water in our bodies, just the same as every musician, past, present, and emerging.
And emerging, all right. So obviously, the earth, air, fire, and water, the classical, these are four that the Chinese named as the components of the body that we share in common with every being who's ever lived, who's ever embodied, from whales to seagulls to earthworms to, grandpa. Earth, air, fire, and water. So, and not different, not at all. We all recycle when we leave this round of bodies. So, since we're borrowing from the planet, what are we doing with them? Can I make myself at home in my body? So I live here comfortably. I want to, and usefully, I might add. I just had a thought. Let's see here, how am I doing in time? Let's see here. Fabrizio Alberico is a luthier and also a yogi. Fab has, let's see, Jerry, is that on the Buddharoot Farm website?
No, but on the Dharma Realm Live channel.
Dharma Realm Live, yes. Okay, I'd like to talk about elements. This is a contemplation of elements. All right, we're going to go to YouTube. Making a shameless plug here for our YouTube site. Dharma Realm Live. Let's see here. Do you know the title of it?
Music from the medicine, no, not this one.
Music from Buddharoot.
Pass it along.
Say again?
Pass it along.
Pass it along. There we go.
And then search for
Yes. This is, I won't do the song. I want you to hear Fabrizio's intro about elements and contemplation. This was, what did it say? This is recorded at Buddha Root Farm in Reedsport, Oregon, so 9 years ago.
So in continuing with the text, when I play a guitar, I think, may all living beings realize that all living beings are in this guitar, quite literally. So, as many of you know, I'm also a yoga teacher, and so I'm very interested in what happens with the breath. And so it turns out that somebody else at New York University by the name of Tyler Volk is also very interested in the breath, specifically what happens to our breath when we actually exhale. And when we exhale, of course, we release carbon atoms that used to be pieces of us. So it burns up in metabolism. We make use of whatever nutrients are available through the bloodstream, and then it just goes out with the exhale. So Tyler Volk decided to figure out how many carbon atoms go out with every breath out. And it turns out that number is 500 million trillion. 500 million trillion carbon atoms. That's 5 followed by 29 zeros. So those are 500 million trillion tiny little pieces of you that used to make up your body. And so where did those pieces of you come from initially? Well, they came from the food that you ate. And so where did that food come from? Well, ultimately came from plants, right? So we eat vegetables, we eat some root vegetables, we eat some leaves, and those are carbon atoms that become our bodies. And so when we release those carbon atoms back into the atmosphere. And so Tyler Volk also decided to figure out, well, what happens to these things when we actually exhale? Like, where do I need to go? How far do I need to go to encounter one of those little pieces of me again? So it turns out that you can't go anywhere on Earth. So you pick any place that you want to, Antarctica, Africa, the North Pole, you name it. And everywhere that you go, if you take a meter sphere of air, so 1 yard, let's say, of sphere of air, about this big around you, every sphere of air around you this big contains 50 carbon atoms of each one of your exhales over the last year. 50 carbon atoms from each one of your exhales over the last year. So that's a lot of pieces of you that are in this air right now around us.
You mean it spreads throughout the world?
Spreads throughout the world. So what happens to those, of course, they get absorbed by trees and by plants. So there is no blade of grass on the planet that does not contain thousands of little pieces of you. And so we are temporary concentrations of carbon atoms, and so are all these trees around us. And so we are having this dialogue continually with these trees around us. Okay, so I think that's pretty cool, and that brings that notion of interconnectedness, interpenetration really home for me, and it makes it very, very real. So if I think that I'm just a bunch of carbon atoms that are organized by some kind of intelligence and then energized some way, then, and consciousness is a mystery. Nobody has figured out what consciousness is. And so who's to say that these little carbon atoms that used to be me still don't have a little bit of my consciousness in them? So when I send out well wishes that all beings be well and happy, maybe a little bit of that actually goes out there. If I breathe out and I hold that intention, maybe that goes out there. So, of course, these carbon atoms eventually become trees, and the trees sometimes get cut down and get put to many purposes, like building this building or building this guitar. So if I look at this top, it came from a spruce tree from, this one comes from Germany, but I also use Sitka spruce, and those trees come from around this part of the world. And these trees are generally about 400 or 500 years old. And so they contain literally the atoms of all those people that lived up until that point, right? So this guitar, if I play Bach on this guitar, I would literally be playing Bach on this guitar. So to bring that all back around, so this is a song written by somebody who's sort of a friend of mine. I met him a couple times. His name is Scott Cook. He lives in Taiwan.
So he goes on to play Scott Cook's song "Pass It Along," which is a wonderful song. Anyway, I really appreciated. Yes.
I have a question. So he says over the last year, do the carbon atoms die after that? Is it just like a year? So it's 1 year.
Good question. Tell me your name.
Carrie.
You're Carrie. I don't know. I don't know the answer. And
It's just a measurement here that they're quantifying it with a calculation based on the diffusion of the carbon in the air and integrating it across time for a time unit. But the atoms don't die.
they don't die as such. Okay.
Atoms are basically indestructible.
There will be a degradation of atoms in many, many trillions of years. So there will be an extinguishing of form.
This is a hot topic here. We got some. It's great. I think you better bring this up every day and see how we progressed in our understanding of the indestructibility of atoms. And that's awesome. Yeah. No, people have, there's some deep, profound. Bob.
I had one little note when we were talking about the elements. I read a book on physiology, and the experts that study these things estimate the electrical impulse in our neurons. They happen over a very, very tiny space, and they're just micro voltages. But if you scaled it up to the size of a thundercloud, it would be more electricity than a lightning bolt.
Well.
Between the neurons.
Well.
It's an incredible amount of power.
Yeah. And zeros and ones from a keyboard can't replicate that. It's just AI is not going to do, not the same. Anyway, that's, yeah. Aaron, I'm going to ask you to come up and read Reconnecting. You want to do it? Got to get closer so you can see it. Okay, hold on 1 second. Let me make it big for you here. Are you ready? Okay, watch those commas and periods, okay?
Reconnected. With a heart of gratitude, play to make connections with all your relations. Parents, siblings, children, friends, all beings, and 7 generations of ancestors.
Okay, good.
With this music, may we harmonize where there is conflict, balance what is crooked, heal what is broken, and ground what is uprooted. Through the air that touches all equally, may I bless all beings with the sounds that my music creates.
Good job, dude. Thank you so much. So, with a heart of gratitude, play to make connections with all my relations. And then you can add any missing from that list, you can add them. With this music, may we harmonize where there's conflict, balance what is crooked, heal what's broken, and ground what's uprooted. Music can do that. I think in a real way, because a musical phrase doesn't end until it connects heartbeats, it connects breath, and I think that's part of the transformative power of a great performance, is because we have been re-harmonized by the musician as we, and you're sitting listening, but who's ever been carried away by Handel, or by a large orchestra, just you come out fresh, new, I think for this reason. Through the air that touches all equally, may I bless all beings with the sounds that my music creates. Now, that's sort of a prayer, but why not? Sometimes we can just say, this is my gift. I am hoping to leave the world better after my musical performance. All right. The last one again is the ensemble. In the synergy of ensemble playing, may I find the space where the band touches and harmonizes. May our heartbeats synchronize. May our breathing connect and find the flow. So that's the purpose of our little booklet. We started out with our musician's mindfulness statement. There we go, right there. One more, there we are. And by the way, these photos are Al Petaway's photos from his home on top of a mountain. Anybody who read Cold Mountain, the novel, the Civil War novel, that's Cold Mountain, you're looking at it. It's across the valley from where Al and Amy White and Al Petaway lived. So we started with the musician's mindfulness. Then we had the intentions, which we use before we begin to kind of shape and, like a laser, to give a context, to give a line and then the context outside that line of the moment, of the experience. And they have different flavors: peaceful, loving kindness, non-harming, ensemble, and then room for your own. Then contemplations, which is a way of seeing the music-making experience that allows consciousness to, along with the music you're making, be aware, open an awareness. One is vibrations. Another was the silence around the notes. Another was the elements that we are set vibrating, and that are us, the elements that include us. And then the reconnecting part, which I think may be, judging by what I'm seeing, the most powerful of them. So the sense of the musician is also a magician, transforming the state of being of the audience as they came in and then before they go out. So done with this awareness, the musician really has the power to renew the awareness of the audience and to give them a fresh start. How powerful. Yes, ma'am.
I'm just curious, I mean, this is gorgeous work, so thank you so much. But I'm curious what you might have to say when, let me see if I can say this right, when the music itself is created, you know, I mean, to move, to feel something, but what about if it's meant to feel fracture or pain or disconnect?
Yeah.
And, you know, I understand that we could connect through disconnect, but I'm curious how you might...
You want a postmodern pray and yeah. Yeah. No, I really, clearly.
You know, because,
yeah. Did you see the movie The Pianist?
Yes.
Adrian Brody. And we were just actually, Heng Sure and I were in the Warsaw Ghetto 2 weeks ago. And where that movie was, you know, so yeah. So music, and for, what was his name, Spielman? Spielman. He was a harmonizer. He didn't contribute to brokenness, but I think if anybody had a justification for playing his affliction, he would have done it. Good question. It's up to you. Expand this, you know, take it further. The idea behind this was gratitude in service to the music. But the music is personless until you add your emotion, your talent, your joy, your grief to it. Blues, you know, is blues harmonizing? No, I think it's healing. So I guess blues music would be exactly what you're saying, right? But blues heals. Alex, why do the blues heal?
Well, I think it's an opportunity for the musicians and people listening to the music to feel a sense of release.
Release.
Whatever, you know, to put it in simple terms, whatever got you down.
Yeah.
Now you can share that.
Right. And I'm aware of your gesture as much as...
Share the pain, so to speak, or share the grief, and hopefully turn it into something joyful at the same time.
Beautiful. Barbara?
Yeah. Often when music is about grief or something painful, it can be cathartic for people to hear that, take it in, and then if they're suffering, they feel seen, and they feel heard, and then they're just often up some kind of relief.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. I don't know your name, sir. I don't know your name. Elio. Elio, nice to meet you.
Yes. I think the blues was a very beautiful example of this because I think the blues actually have both harmony and then the elements of expressing the pain. Because I think one of the reasons, the roots of the blues was actually, if you consider the fuel orders and the work songs and has all these elements, there was a communal expression, and that is embedded on the blues itself. And even though when somebody is expressing their pain, is expressing it as a collective pain.
Yes.
In many cases, it's not
Yeah.
just one person's pain.
Yeah.
It's a collective experience, which actually creates a unity, and that's actually one of the most main connections between the people who's actually singing.
Yeah.
Or performing the blues and how they experience it, because they can recognize that particular feeling.
Beautiful. Thank you. Barbara, I'm sorry, I'm having trouble hearing. A little louder, please.
I play with a program that sends musicians to Children's Hospital to play in San Francisco. We'll play in the wards, and we'll play for children who sometimes are in the hospital for a very long time with really serious illnesses. And at first, when we were doing it, we'd always play upbeat pieces and happy songs. And then the nurses said we had like couple of sad things. Play those sad songs because the children feel seen.
Yeah.
They hear that. They don't want to just hear happy things.
Yeah.
They want to hear things they can feel related to, and it actually makes them feel better.
Beautiful. Yeah, this is rich, and we're just scratching the surface. This is day one. So we can, I'm so pleased to be able to share this with all of you who'll be here the whole week. I have a song and a story. One of the things that I put out an album called Dharma Radio, which was Buddhist literature into music. And I went to generations of Buddhist music, as did Loni Baur, and turned Zen poetry and sutra passages into singable folk songs. And some of them were from my own experience. This is one of them. Sophie mentioned that I did a pilgrimage at one point in my formation as a monk. And it involved traveling from South Pasadena up the Pacific Coast Highway, Highway 1, all the way to Ukiah, over 2.5 years. And I took 3 steps and then did a prostration to the ground and stood up and did 3 more steps. And if anybody's curious, I belong to the Ox clan in Chinese astrology. People say that's the most ox-like thing anyone's ever heard of. 3 steps. 1 mile a day, and on Big Sur, we'll be up there tonight, and then we'll be up there tonight. So anyway, outside of Santa Barbara, and some of us are going to UC Santa Barbara next year, right? Congratulations, dude. Yeah. So outside of Santa Barbara, there's a place called Goleta, a Gaviota, the Gaviota Pass, and it's where Santa Barbara approaches Big Sur. And at the time, this is 1977, and we had drought. It was a drought, years of drought. And it was really hot out there. And at Gaviota Pass, the geology changes a bit. And there's a giant tree. There's this one massive tree. And because we were traveling so slowly, myself and my companion, Bhikshu Heng Chao, his name was, we got to see what was on the roadside. It was really clear because we were there, putting our heads to the ground. And under this big tree in the hot summer day were gathered deer on this side and coyotes on the other side. And they were eyeing each other, but they all needed the shade, so they made peace. And over here were rabbits breathing really fast, and over here were the feral dogs. Feral dog packs are heavy duty in these neighborhoods because the dogs escape or they're left behind and they find each other and they're fierce. Over here we saw snakes, over here we saw frogs. Fundamental enemies, but making peace to get the shade of the tree. So we thought, this is the family tree. And we wonder, how come humans haven't figured this out? We're still struggling, you know, when we could all be enjoying the shade, but we don't seem to be able to do as well as the animals. At sunset, everybody eyed everybody and backed away and went off into their respective spaces. But during the day, they could all do a temporary truce to find the shade of the family tree. So your part, and we are turning the cameras on, so if you don't sing, we will know. Your part goes like this. We're all sitting in the shade of the family tree. Sitting in the shade of the family tree. Got it? And try it. We're all sitting in the shade of the family tree. Sitting in the shade of the family tree. Great, here we go. Water and earth, wind and fire, roots digging deeper, branches reaching higher, north and south and east and west, all beings akin to me. Here we go, your turn. We're all sitting in the shade of the family tree, sitting in the shade of the family tree. I got earth in my feet, I've got oceans in my knees. 7 generations live on inside of me. My roots connect the universe, all beings are family. Here we go. We're all sitting in the shade of the family tree. Sitting in the shade of the family tree. Computer break. There we go. What we do to our planet, we do to our home. Planet Earth is our address. Nobody lives alone. Everyone's a neighbor in our Earth community. Join me. We're all sitting in the shade of the family tree. Sitting in the shade of the family tree. Earth is home to all of us. Share the crops, don't make a fuss. Share the food grown in the ground. There's enough to go around. We eat the burger, feed the cat. One we savor, one we pet. Pet the burger, eat the cat. We haven't got that straight. I got brothers wearing fur. I got sisters wearing fins. Some with wings and some with tails and some with rainbow skin. I don't eat my family. Come sit here right by me. This is stealth vegetarian propaganda. We're all sitting in the shade of the family tree. Sitting in the shade of the family tree. The cook, she calls it omelet, but the chicken called it egg. You may call it drumstick, but the turkey called it leg. Every mother loves her children. Live and let life be. Last chance, we can sit beneath the shade of the family sit beneath the shade of the family tree. Come on, sit beneath the shade of the family tree. Well done, bravo. We can all room together next semester. What do you say? Okay. Loni, would you be willing to come up and do a song with me together?
We were going to do I'm Really Lucky.
I've got it. I can put it on the screen.
Bob's here.
Bob is here. So this is, if this were a secular camp, we would probably not be singing a Buddhist song. But there's a Buddhist umbrella over here somewhere. So I wanted to share a song that Loni Baur, the former Bhikshuni Hengyin, put together with our teacher. And actually the teacher wrote this song in English. And for a monk who didn't speak English, that was pretty good. There it was. Bob, I'll give you the guitar if you want to.
No,
He's got his? Okay, good. So I had this worked out in C. I'm really lucky. What is he doing it in?
We do it in C.
In C? Oh, we can do D. This is set up for C. How does this sound? I'm really lucky. Right? Is that good? Good stuff. You need a thumb pick?
Sure. I need all the help I can get.
There we go. Unrehearsed.
Terry.
Flying without a net. Terry is here. Okay. Do you want to, Loni, do you want to say a word about it?
Maybe in C.
In C. Go through it twice from stop to finish. We will follow you. Because last life I planted good seeds that would bear. Now in this life I met good friends and a good knowing one to teach me deep wisdom. Okay, we'll follow you. Whatever I will sing with you. I'm throwing you off. Go for it.
I can't remember all the chords. I was following you.
Okay. See, this is what we do, right? It's organic, the folk process. Right? So. Would you rather put it up a notch? I'm really lucky. There we go. Now, I've switched to D. To study because last life, what's our intention? Planting good seed. What are you contemplating? Now in this life, I met good friends and good knowing ones. I think that I will go to Buddha real soon. I hope so. My Dharma friends and I together go to perfect in life. Really, put an intention and a contemplation. Here's where you do it. Makes it different. Here we go. I'm really lucky to study Buddhism, because last life I planted good seeds. Now in this life I've met good friends and good knowing one to teach me deep wisdom. I think that I will go to Buddhism. I hope so. My Dharma friends and I together go to perfect enlightenment. To perfect enlightenment. There you go. It's not the Beatles. But we're older. We're older than the Beatles.
It could be yesterday, today, and tomorrow, as well as last life, this life, and next life.
Well done.
Thanks. This is fun. Appreciate it so much. You all giving us the chance to be with you and to kick off this One Heart summer session. This is that you all can be here is fantastic. Blessings. 有福气才能这样子哈。So yeah. Idan, you bet.
I really enjoyed the book, but before I go on the stage or share a song, can you give me like one little line or one little word that I can use before I go perform?
I don't think a word is going to do it. I think a practice will do it, such as breathing. So 3 inhales that you vocalize. Right? And you got 30 seconds before you're on stage, and then fill your lungs from the bottom. Let the vocalization go out, and then let the space. And then breathe in from the soles of your feet, And then you finish and you say, good. Good. That's good. And then you go out. And you have inspired with everybody. Inspiration means you breathe in. Every audience is different. Every performance is different. The chi, what people ate before they came in the theater is different chemistry. And by filling your lungs, you are literally partaking the air of the moment. So your performance will be more tuned, to what's going on. And it may be jagged and edgy and vibey, or it might be really mellow and gentle, but you are part of it, and you're reflecting back to them. I know a performer, pianist, who says she contemplates before she goes on stage, putting the notes in the heart of every single individual in the audience. And that's her contemplation, I'm going to actually, Fabrizio talked about those particles, the exhalation, the carbonate. I'm going to put these notes in the heart of everyone who can hear my music. So, yeah, it's a gift. That's another thought, is gift. You're there making a gift. So,
I just have one comment.
Alex, you bet.
Yeah, apropos to Edan's question. Some years ago, I performed for the first time in a big concert hall with 27 string players and just me on guitar. And I'd never done anything like that before. This was at Hertz Hall in San Francisco. And my friend Jeremy Cohen, who's a fine violinist and has been here teaching before, was in one of the string players. And I said, Jeremy, I'm so nervous. And he said, try this. When you first go out, just play one note, one harmonic, and let it circulate through the hall. And once you do that, you feel like you're here, you're present. And it was really, really helpful advice for me, I think.
Play one note, even a harmonic, and let it circulate through the hall.
Let it circulate, and then you feel suddenly like you're connected in that space and with those people.
Fantastic.
Very helpful.
Awesome.
And the people were all in the audience waiting for you to start, and you played.
Yeah.
So it pulls their attention into that note right there.
Hopefully.
Okay, class dismissed. Thanks. This is great. Yes. Tell me your name.
David.
You're David.
The astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson says that all matter was created in the formation of stars, so that the idea that we are the stars is actually literally true.
Literally true. I love it. Including koalas. Okay, good. Thank you all.
We're not the Beatles, we're the Boodles.
The Boodles.